The organization 0 to 3 publishes a yearly report on the condition of infants and toddlers. This report provides a national and state-by-state look into the health, safety, and educational experiences and family conditions of children under 3 years of age and their families' caregivers. Examining states individually has shown that the experiences of infants and toddlers differs greatly based on the state they are in. Compared to the national average, how is the state of California doing? Does the Golden State receive accolades of gold for its care and education of infants and toddlers? This video will summarize the main findings from the 2020 report on the state of California. 1,476,631 infants and toddlers live in California. Of these, 51.7% are Hispanic Latinx, 25.9% are white, 11.2% are Asian, 5% are Black, 0.4% are American Indian Alaska Native, and 5.8% fall under the Other category. 22.1% of infants and toddlers are being raised in low-income families, and 21.2% are within the poverty level. The majority of families with infants, toddlers who are within the poverty level are disproportionately represented by families of color. Even though Black infants, toddlers only comprise 5% of the population under 3 years of age in California, they comprise 34.3% of the families within the poverty level, followed by Hispanic Latinx infants, toddlers at 27.3%. Most infants, toddlers are being raised by two-parent families, 80.4%, while 17.6% are being raised by single parents. 2.1% of infants, toddlers do not have a parent present in the household. They may be raised by family members like grandparents, for example. Most infants, toddlers have a mother who is employed in the workforce. Having a working mother has many positive benefits. However, it does highlight an important change. More children are being cared for outside of the home from someone other than the parent compared to in previous generations. To examine the state of infants and toddlers, a 4-tier ranking system was used. Getting started is the lowest ranked tier. Reaching forward is the third highest ranked tier. Improving outcomes is the second highest ranked tier, and working effectively is the highest ranked tier. States were given an individual ranking for 3 specific developmental domains: good health, strong families, and positive early learning experiences, and were given an overall ranking that combined those 3 individual domains. In this way, the progress states make overall and within individual domains can be tracked longitudinally. The 2020 report gave California the overall ranking of reaching forward, which is the second to lowest ranking, or third from the top, that can be earned. For the individual domains, California received the top ranking, working effectively, for the domain of good health, the second to highest ranking, improving outcomes, for the domain of strong families, and for the domain of positive early learning experiences, California received the ranking of getting started, the lowest possible ranking that can be earned. To understand the ranking of each individual domain, there are specific key indicators that can be examined. In other words, the ranking of each domain is based on the performance of key indicators. For the domain of good health, there are a few key indicators worth examining. Recall that California earned the highest possible ranking, working effectively, for this domain. Considering infant mortality rate, that is the number of deaths per 1,000 live births, California's infant mortality rate was 4.2 compared to the national average of 5.9. In California, 13% of families with infants, toddlers were food insecure, compared to the national average of 16.5%. 12.9% of mothers living in California reported less than optimal mental health, compared to the national average of 22%. In California, 3.8% of mothers received late or no prenatal care, and 6.8% of newborns had a low birth weight, compared to the national averages of 6.2% and 8.2% respectively. For the domain of strong families, there are a few key indicators worth examining. Recall that California earned the second to highest ranking, improving outcomes, for this domain. There were a few key indicators where California's performance was more ideal than the national average. In California, 0.6% of families with infants toddlers experienced housing instability, compared to the national average of 2.5%. Only 2.7% of children under 3 experienced 2 or more adverse childhood experiences, compared to the national average of 8.3%. The infant-toddler maltreatment rate, 13.4%, is slightly lower than the national average, 16%. However, there were also several key indicators where the performance of California was much worse than the national average. In California, 18.8% of infant toddlers are being raised in unsafe neighborhoods, compared to the national average of 6.3%. 28.3% of infant toddlers are experiencing crowded housing situations, compared to the national average of 15.6%. For the domain of positive early learning experiences, there are a few key indicators worth examining. Recall that California earned the worst possible ranking, getting started, for this domain. Only 25.5% of infants toddlers in California were read to every day, compared to the national average of 38.2%. Only 22.4% of infants toddlers received a developmental screening in the past year, compared to the national average of 30.4%. The cost of care for infants toddlers in California is expensive. This report found that for married couples, cost of care takes approximately 15.9% of the average couple's total income and 50.8% of the average income of single parents. Although a national average was not provided, the report ranked this key indicator as getting started, which is the lowest ranking, suggesting that the cost of care in California is high compared to other states. 2 slightly more positive pieces of data show California performing near the national average. 57.2% of infants toddlers are saying to every day, compared to the national average of 56.4%. In California, 2.9% of infants toddlers are receiving services through Part C of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, compared to the national average of 3.1%. The fact that California received the lowest possible ranking for the domain of positive early learning experiences is important information for us as infant and toddler teachers and caregivers. It highlights the need for improved preparation of practices and why professional development courses at the college level that focus specifically on children under 3 years of age are critical. This low ranking of California may surprise you, embarrass you, or even anger you, but whatever feeling it raises initially, I hope it soon also gives way to a feeling that we can and must make a change toward improvement. This finding points directly to us, the teachers and caregivers. To improve this domain, it's up to us. This report provides specific key indicators that we can focus on and strive to improve. For example, we should commit to singing and reading more every day. I'm not a very good singer, but my daughter and I will sing about everything. We'll often use a known melody and change the words to describe an activity we're doing. As teachers, we can use free and low-cost parent-completed developmental screenings. The Ages and Stages General Questionnaire and the Ages and Stages Social Emotional Health Questionnaires are affordable, well-known, and easy to use. Reading, singing, and using developmental screenings are areas where California could easily improve, and are also areas where making strides towards improvement are not that challenging. We have a lot of work to do here in California, so let's get started.